Elysium, this land, barren, calls out for sustenance. It calls out for custodianship. The time has come to call forth the elder spirits of Tsudzil, of the ancient gods, so that we may consecrate this land.
Hold on, wait. Babe, what are you talking about?
We're gonna make this holy ground.
That's not what that means.
It doesn't?
No, not at all. That's what you brought me out here for?
Yes.
You're pretty.
One of the problems that we've had in the few times that it has rained out here already is if it rains a fair amount, this dirt is so hard packed, nothing absorbs. It might get muddy for about an inch or two, but it doesn't soak in. We don't have that problem with the yard because Eric tended the soil of the yard. It's not this hard pack. But this driveway, yeah, it's nothing but. And I want to keep the driveway that way. As you can see, he graveled the hard pack, although I just priced out what it would take. It's really not that expensive. Just have a dump truck, throw some more gravel down. Overall, though, this graveled portion doesn't really collect water and turn into a lake. This part of the cul-de-sac, on the other hand, does turn into a lake. As does all of that neighbor's property every single time that it rains. Now, this cul-de-sac, this is part of our property. And as you can see, he actually grew some things out here at some point, but then he left a bunch of dead brush piles, and I can't blame him for the pumpkins. Those are ours. There's a bit of mesquite and some dead trees I gotta get out of here. At one point, he definitely had seeper hoses running out all the way to here. But we have no idea where those would have been hooked up, and they're not hooked up no more. Mostly it's this little portion right here. This slopes down about to where I'm standing, and this just becomes a pond for about half a day anytime it rains. I remembered something that we used to do a long time ago in my family. We called them rain drains, but that was probably just a word that my family made up. I'm not going to till this because this earth, if you water it well, this is actually very fertile. And you can grow almost anything in this right here. You just got to get water into it. I am probably going to mulch the heck out of it and try to get that mulch to mix in with some of the topsoil. But for now, I want to install about a dozen 24-inch vertical drains into this strip of hard pack just to see what happens. Morning backyard view. Just lovely. On the opposite end of the basin, past White Sands, you can see the entire Oregon mountain range. Those mountains are about 65 miles away. Beautiful day out to show what I'm going to be doing. It's about 57 degrees out Fahrenheit. California nice, Texas freezing. So right after I took that last video, literally the next morning, it rained, but only a little tiny bit. I had other things I had to go do that day, but I did sit around for a second checking to see if the rain would be enough for me to show the problem and the solution that I'm working on for this. I don't want to just run more dripper lines. My plan, should I take it all the way to fruition, is pretty much right where I'm standing. I'm gonna build a water tower, and it will be a rain catchment, because we do get some rain in the desert, but it'll also be something I can just run a hose out to once a week and fill a 50 or 80 gallon water tank. So, as you saw in my video about building the shed a while back, I've had to dig post holes and dig in the dirt in various areas of the United States throughout my life, usually for money, sometimes just family homesteading. And this isn't the worst stuff that I've had to dig into. It's close, as I said before. This is what is known as, I think I'm saying this right, caliche. Caliche is a hard-packed, limestone-rich, thin silt that has been washed down here over the millennia from those mountains. It is hard to dig into this stuff. This is where I want to plant some trees and other fruit bushes in the coming spring. As you can see, this stuff is very, very hard, even after it got rained on. And one of the reasons for that, I'll demonstrate, is caliche doesn't want to absorb water. Let me find a fresh spot. Let me simulate some rain. Now, if this was the dirt of the Mojave Desert that I've played around with before, this water would be soaking straight down into it. If this was like the soil of the foothills of California or the soil in Colorado, this water would be sinking right into the ground. That's probably enough. As you can see, it is not really sinking into the ground. It just sort of puddles up. A little bit of it, like right here, it's soaked in a tiny bit. But especially in the summer, most of this water doesn't go down into the roots of plants. It just puddles up at the top and sits there until it evaporates. It doesn't penetrate very far at all. Even when we've had rainstorms that turn this neighbor's property into what looks like a lake, the mud is only about 1.5 to 2 inches deep. And then it's just dry caliche. Not really good for plants. Over here we've got a couple of pines that somehow survived without us watering them. And of course a mesquite bush, which doesn't need much water. It's almost a cactus. But when you look at these other trees and this bamboo stand and all those, without constant watering at the surface, plants out here in caliche tend to die. And I don't want that. A solution that is from far in my distant past that we used to do, I was reminded of this after not thinking about it for probably 30 years, is a way to get the water down into the ground deeper than that first basic surface level of the caliche. So I bought some tools to do this. Will this work? I have no idea. I haven't the foggiest idea if this is a good idea or bad idea. I'm going to try it anyway, because trial and error and success are the ways to figure out what you're doing. And what I bought as a starting point is these. Whee! These are dirt augers that fit into any 3/8 of an inch power drill. Now, these are not super deep. They're really not. These are about 24 inches. And what you do with these is you drill down into the dirt as far as you can go with this kind of length. They do make augers that go a lot deeper, and I'm probably going to upgrade to some of those. They actually come with a dedicated motor. I might buy an electric one. I might buy a gas one. I'm not sure which one yet. If you have a preference and you're watching this video, which do you prefer, electric augers or gas-powered augers? For right now, this is just a quick way for me to test out some vertical drains, holes in the earth that punch down through that first 24 inches of caliche and drain water into them. I'm going to have to drill a lot of these for them to have any effect, because it's probably going to have to absorb a few hundred gallons of rainwater when it rains here. I'm also going to be sinking some of these holes near the existing living trees just to make sure they get a little bit better water. But it's not as simple as just popping holes in the ground. I'll show you what I'm doing. This bit feels weird on this drill, but we're going to try it anyway. So, to do vertical drains, they recommend you go at least 12 inches. This is a lot more than 12 inches. We're going to drill down into the caliche. I still don't know how to say that. We're going to drill down into it, and then they say if you're in loose or sandy soil, you should put a cloth barrier between the hole and the gravel. The caliche that I've dug in so far is very, very solid. So I don't think we need to be putting cloth into the hole. We're just going to drill a hole and then drop gravel in it. Pull up.
It's a hole.
Yep.
A tiny one, but it's a...
Pull up.
That was weird. Maybe a rock.
Yeah, the sides of this are completely rock hard.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Here, feel. You'll see what I mean, feel. See, it's like...
That's hard.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's hard. We see how it's a lot harder? How deep are you wanting these to be?
About as deep as the drill bit.
That's about as deep as the bit.
Okay. This is in a depression of the surrounding, good Lord, surrounding caliche. This is nuts. Finding any artifacts, alas. Huh. Okay. Well, let's see if I get that. I found a piece of buckshot. Whew. Careful.
Scoop some dirt out.
Yes, ma'am. Doing it just like the ancients used to, with a power drill and YouTube.
I'm just hoping for our own little Beverly Hillbillies moment.
If this starts gushing oil, we've got problems.
Do we?
Yeah, because we're on an aquifer.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that would be a problem.
Yeah, that'd be hella problematic.
But we'll be rich. We'll buy a new aquifer. Is that how it works?
Yeah, totally. Let's have them bring in a whole new aquifer.
What was Trey Crowder's? The Hillbillies putting in a reservoir. Should we get a reservoir? Where do they have reservoirs?
Technically, this is a reservoir.
It's just really underground.
It's a very small one. This is our hole. It was made for us. Points if you...
Not for us. We made it. We literally created it. That's terrible verbiage.
No, it's just a call out to a terrible horror anime thing. Okay, so do you want to do the gravel?
No.
Okay. So for these holes, I bought red lava rock. Now I know the red is an artificial dye, and I chose this for two reasons. The first one being lava rock is porous and therefore could trap some of the water and allow it to seep into the ground. The other one being it was on sale. Whee! We got to fill up this hole. Wow. Well, that filled up quick. All right, so we got a new battery for the drill. We have multiple batteries for the drill, but I kind of wanted to demonstrate exactly why we're doing this. As I showed in the previous video, you dump water on this caliche, it doesn't go anywhere. It just sort of lays on top of the dirt until it evaporates. But these drain holes that we're digging...
Should you just take the spray cap off of it? Otherwise you're wasting it.
Goes right in the hole. Oh, there we go. Now it's full.
You're pretty.
So my thought is, if we dig enough of these holes, and I'm thinking probably a dozen of them down the line, this is not going to be a one-day thing, we're just going to do a few of these today. We dig enough of these holes, it will saturate this end of the cul-de-sac to the point that when we plant new plants here in the spring, they'll get water.
Can we do 2 by the willows?
Yeah. No, I was definitely going to do more on the established trees that we have.
Can we do them now? Since those are actually established and nothing is planted here yet?
Mm-hmm. All that city life made my hands soft. Yesterday digging in that caliche dirt busted my hands up a bit. So gloves today, I think.
Make holes in the ground, oh, deep and wide.
So the plan is going to be between these 3 holes, which is about 4 feet between the 3 in a triangle, right about here. That's where, come the springtime, probably where I'm going to put one of the trees. I'm not going to say what kind of tree I'm planting it because I haven't fully decided, but it will be some form of fruit tree. Also, doing this with a cordless drill is effective, but man, dude, does this just rip through batteries. I'm getting about 2 holes per battery. But fortunately, we have plenty of batteries for this. This is the DeWalt. And should be able to do at least 4 more.
You should do your power tool, but
Nah.
We answer all, make holes in the ground, dig and pray, toil in silence through night and day. The spade is holy, the work divine.
This video is going up a little bit later than we're used to because I was hoping the weather would allow us to test the range drains naturally, but sadly the 2 days that were supposed to rain dried up. So what I'm going to do, now we've got 7 of these holes out of probably another 5 or 6 to go. I'm going to dump about 2 gallons of water. And first, I'm going to dump it here. No drains, just pure caliche. And then I'm going to dump it yonder between the holes. And we'll see which one soaks up more water. I don't think this is a really hard Vegas bet. Man, I don't know. All over this cul-de-sac, and this is not a setup, this is not a gag, I keep finding cow bones, ox bones. I'm wondering if these are just remnants of dog treats that Eric gave his dogs 15 years ago. First one. Rah! I'm going to try to spread these out the same in both the caliche and the drain hole areas. Ooh, they're testing something over at White Sands today. There's the first puddle, and I would note it's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit out, so the water is unlikely to evaporate from the heat. Now, the same amount of water, I'm not going to pour this directly in the drains. I want to see what happens when I dump this right in the middle of the drains. Will this, in fact, do anything? Well, you can already see the water running to the drains. Yeah, like I said, I keep finding chunks of bone out here, and because they're cut like that and the size of them, I'm not like average people who go, oh my god, it might be human. These are not human. No, this is off a larger animal that was butchered, so probably dog bones. That said, it has been a very, very long time since any dogs lived at this property. There's these 2 big mounds of dead stuff that definitely did not occur naturally. We're pretty sure that Eric would just make these burn piles and burn them, because if you dig down here, in this caliche right here, there's a lot of ash and coal, charcoal. He was using this as a burn pit area. And who are we to stop that tradition? So one of these days when we get some rain, I'm going to go ahead and come out here and light this up. Going back out to check. And there is a kitty. Probably the neighbor's cat. She's a big one. But I also threw some chicken bones out there earlier. Oh, there goes the kitty. And we got some crows that I think are checking out my chicken bones. Not crows, ravens. We don't really have crows here. Yeah, there's a couple of big old ravens there on the fence. I'm not sure if you can see them through the trees. Okay. About 45 minutes later, let's look at these spots. Well, drain looks like it mostly worked. The water found the drains, and that is just mud. I don't see any standing water at all. In fact, that top layer right there looks almost dry. Let's look at this other spot over here. Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this worked. Because that's standing water after 45 minutes. So water here, that's like liquid water on the top. Little bit of dryness. Same exact amount of water. No standing water at all, which leads me to believe the water that I poured here is now down in the ground. I'm gonna pour some water directly on a drain. Okay, so each of these holes fills up at about a gallon and change, just estimating. Huh. You know, I think we found something interesting here. In the end, was this a terribly scientific experiment? Absolutely not. This ground right here where we put the drains might be softer. It might not have as much pack to the caliche. Or the ground where I poured the water with no drains could just be rock hard. But I like these results. In the end, we're going to drill more of these holes, and then in the springtime, the spot behind me is going to have some brand new plants. Some trees, some bushes, and possibly a watering solution. That's about all I got for this week. And I'll try to get some footage next time it rains to see how those drains do. In the end, the holidays are upon us. Everyone be cool.
Make holes in the ground, the earth breaks profound. Dig like a gopher, dig like a mole rat. By the coalition, we must prevail. I want a beer, the drill is out of power, amen. May we get fried chicken, mighty honor unfair. want a beer, you can have tequila, Kelly, she is so stupid. I hope nobody knows that this is AI music.